If only you'd known me, if only you'd seen where I was, what I did, and who I used to be, then you'd know there was no hope for me. Till I came to the altar and gave him everything. And I can understand how he came and made me whole. Something changed when I called that name, and all I know is something got a hold of me. That's why I dance like it's my last chance. I have been set free, and I will shout till I'm out of breath. I'll be the first to tell you I don't know how to explain how it changed my life. But when Jesus came in, something got a hold of me. Something got a hold of me, and I will never be the same. Jesus got a hold of me. Say now I have real joy. Yes, sir. That nobody can take. And this joy is my strength of the darkest of days. Yeah. I have a song. I got a song that the angels can sing. That the angels can sing. Oh, hallelujah. I have been redeemed. And I'm never going back to the life I lived before. The sun says free is free indeed, and I know for sure that something got a hold of me. That's why I dance like it's my last chance. 'Cause I have been set free by the blood of Jesus, and I will shout till I'm out of breath. I'll be the first to tell you I don't know how to explain how it changed my life. Jesus came back. Something got a hold of me. Everybody help me this place. Hey, something got a hold of me. If you think that I'm being too loud, you ain't seen nothing yet. If you think I'm undignified now, you ain't seen nothing yet. If you think that I'm being too loud, you ain't seen nothing yet.
What's up, everybody? Brother Nathan here with the live episode of the Kingdom Project. We are so excited. Been a little nervous, can't lie about it. Been a little nervous about this, but we are live today in the Student Center. Of course, hey, new spot. Live episode, we had to go to a new spot that we ain't been to before. But as you can see, got a lot of cats up in here. And finally, after 20 weeks of being gone, Buddy Brax, Brother Braxton Spikes is back on the podcast. Let's go.
Feels good to be back. I'm so glad to be back home. Coming back and doing this episode is really going to be a lot of fun. Live episode, super big. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm glad we have everybody here. A lot of people that I love and I'm dear to.
Absolutely.
So I'm ready to get this thing kicked off.
We're going to get into a little bit about him being gone a little bit later in the episode, but so glad he's back. And then, of course, we got a couple of all-stars that have been on the show before already. Brother Kyle Johnson, pastor.
It's
Let's
good to
go.
be here. Good to be here. I got
Brother William Hudson up in here, Connect
What's that?
pastor,
What's that?
creative pastor.
Woo! Something like that.
I was starting to list all the hats, but I said, no, let's just hold up.
Leave it alone.
And then Sister McKenna, my Sister McKenna. Sister McKenna Ward is up in here. Hey, with the female representation.
I'm no
little
pastor,
female
but-
touch on the show. We got to have it. She's the one that suggested the plants. Fernando being here, brother Fernando, sister Fernando, baby Fernando back in the mix. So this is what we're viewing as. Oh, you got a little spot over there. You got
Number 2.
a little baby Fernando over there. Okay, so this is what we're viewing as season 1 finale. We're going to end it with a live episode. And this month at the river, it is family month. So we're going to talk about family, but a lot of different aspects of family. But what I want to say first is thank you so much for being involved, for watching, sharing, liking, commenting, everything that y'all have done. About a year ago, pretty close to right on exactly a year ago, Brother Braxton, we were up here talking like we do so many nights after Wednesday nights, and was like,
So
hey,
late.
we need to start a podcast. And I was like, man, I don't know anything about a podcast, and I also don't know if people watch. And he was like, I think if we do it, people will watch, people will support. And it kind of went a little ways, but we finally came back to it, had so much support from the people. As you can see, because we had so many guests on here and a lot more coming, is we had so much support from the church and so much support from the young people that we're 13 episodes in, almost a year from the idea, and hey, we're gonna go as long as y'all want it to. As long as y'all can receive stuff, we got a list of topics. Sister McKenna's made a long list. Brother Braxton's been working on it. A list of guests, and we're gonna keep putting these things out until y'all say, hey, we don't like y'all anymore, shut it down. Which I hope never happens. And then I'll just pass it off to the next youth pastor whenever that happens. Brother William, when he comes back.
Yeah. The return.
But today, again, I say thank y'all so much. Thank y'all everybody for being here. And when we don't shout out much, and I said this earlier, we had a meeting, was talking about it. Usually what happens is you have a couple of cats in front of the camera, and you got a team of people making sure this thing runs behind the scenes. Behind our scenes, we got like 2 people. Brother Derek, all on the sound, all on the edits. Let's give it up for Brother Derek Abedy.
Hey, the cats are up here, but the dogs, they're back there.
Ain't the dogs are back there. And Brother Trey Fowler is killing it on, video, editing. I don't honestly, special effects, I honestly don't know what all it takes to do what they do, but I know it takes a lot of stuff that I don't know. So let's give it up for our production team. And then we got a creative team that helps out with a lot. Sister Carissa, she's all supportive. And I know I keep saying, she's coming on here. And what she told me, I'm pretty sure she said I dreamed this, but I didn't. She told me she'll come on here once Buddy Brax comes back.
And he's
And
here.
Braxton is back.
Looks like him.
here.
Looks like him right there.
Carissa's going to be on an episode shortly.
Or she's a
And-
liar.
Or yeah, I mean,
And we can't
the Bible
have-
talks
hey.
about that.
We can't have that. There's a lot.
part
There's a lot to talk about that in the Bible.
They got a part somewhere.
There's a place specifically. So she's not that, obviously. She's a proud leader of the youth group. And y'all just remind her of that. Hey, Sister Krista, can't wait to see you.
Y'all bug her every day. Every day y'all see her.
Can't wait to see you on the podcast. What's your podcast episode about? So she's going to get on here. So many people, parents, students. We could go on and on. We could go an hour and a half just thanking people, but we're not. We're going to have some actual content up here. So what I want to do first is just like we said, just like Brax said in his video, just like the posts have been saying from our social media team. Also, social media team. Sister McKenna's on the social media team. And Sister Megan Johnson, the proud wife of Brother KJ.
Yep.
She is
Very proud.
solid. She helps do all our graphics. And that's all they've been posting. But they posted about some giveaways. So we're going to do a little giveaway this morning. So let's go. Let's see. What you want to give away, Brax? We got a couple of gift cards. Little Starbucks. Little $25 Starbucks. $25 Starbucks. Here's what we're going
Hey,
to do.
calm down out there.
We just going to sling it. Now, we don't promote fighting or violence. We promote turning the other cheek, and we listen to the words of the Lord. But at the same time, we want to see a little effort. So I'm about to sling this thing out there, and I need now, sorry for everybody watching live. If you can get here, there will be more. If you can get here quick, maybe you get a chance to dive on one of these things. But as of right now, this is just up for grabs. So, all right, everybody, let's make a hassle for it. That thing went deep.
Whoa.
Get over there.
Whoa.
Get over there.
Hey.
Fight for it. You gotta want it. Bro, Mad
he got
Maddox in the house.
Okay, my God.
Mad. Okay, hey,
He got it.
straighten them chairs up after we're done.
Yeah. Hey, bring him to the hospital, actually.
Actually, you know what? Bring that excitement, not the wrestling. to church tomorrow. We need that
Absolutely.
excitement for
That's right.
worship tomorrow, Family Friends Day.
That's
More
right.
to come about that. But let's dive into it. So, as I said, we're going to talk about families on Family Month here. And what better way to lead off about families than about siblings? Anybody got some siblings up in here?
Oh,
Got some
yeah.
siblings.
Do I?
Got some
I
siblings.
do
Too
not.
many.
Brother William can't wait to talk about his siblings. It's actually the reason he showed up.
That's why I'm here.
He has, matter of fact, we have a topic said, hey, Brother William, can you touch on this? He said, yeah, I got that. But let me talk about my
Yeah,
siblings.
I got some stuff I need to. I got some stuff I need to get off my chest.
So,
Got some
but
scars. I never went to therapy, so I got to do it somehow.
That's funny.
So we're going to talk about some siblings and relationships, what kind of bounce back they can have with you, but also strength that you can have with them, a little back and forth, a lot of character building. Sister McKenna, why don't you start us off about a little bit of the siblings' importance and the dialogue you can
And
have
he wants
that.
to know what your favorite sibling is.
I know what her
Oh,
favorite sibling is, so we ain't even got to discuss that.
We don't discuss that here, live here.
No
But
favoritism, right?
Absolutely not.
We love you all the same, but I like some of you more. These are just facts. That's just the way things happen.
Yeah, he's talking about me, okay? But I guess I'll start off with a little background about me is that I am the baby of the family. Five.
Spoiled baby of the five.
Hold up. I don't
No?
know. No.
No.
I don't know about that.
The best version
Yeah,
of all of
best
us is what I said. When people ask about my siblings, I say we gradually got better. We slipped up there in the little middle right there, you know. We got away.
Oh,
Victoria,
where
we got to
you
work
were
on
at?
a little
Where
bit.
you
I'm just
were?
kidding. I'm just
Where you
kidding.
were?
I said we gradually got better as it went on. And so when we got to McKenna, she had like the best
Well,
of everything.
Like, here's the thing, though. It's because I had all of you guys to look up to.
right.
It's because
learn
I get
from.
to learn from their, I wouldn't say your mistakes, but
Right.
like your experiences. I get to see
Experiences.
that.
I love, yeah.
And
Experience
so,
is good.
so a lot of who I am today is because of you guys.
Well,
for
hey,
sure.
I will say thank you for saying that. Some people may say, "Oh, that's how you ended up that way," but no, I'm glad of how you've ended up so far. But yeah, you're the baby of five.
For sure. And I guess really being the youngest, it's kind of like I don't necessarily, when you think about siblings, it's always the older one where like you lead by example and you're the leader and stuff. So whatever y'all do, like they reflect it. And I just think like because of that, I don't necessarily like that's not my position with y'all, but because if you didn't know, like they're all 20 plus older than me, so I'm literally the only teenager left
For
here
sure.
and in the house. Y'all are all moved out, but because of that, like that's not my position. But because y'all like were so much older than me, I had like Holly, our oldest sister. She had Caitlin,
Right.
like our niece, and then our nephew also. So it's like that's for them. That's like I can be their older sibling. Like not necessarily.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do because they're both only children right now,
Right.
so they don't have that sibling. But because the age gap is so wide between, like all of us, and then to you, yeah, I understand what you're saying. Like you are kind of the older sibling to them, especially like when we do, like Thanksgiving, Christmas, birthday parties, or whatever. Like
Oh, yeah.
we're all old, but
Y'all
you're
are over
like,
there playing bingo.
yeah, we're playing
In the corner.
and
Right.
McKenna still gets to be roped
Out in
in
the
with,
yard somewhere.
with the kids. So
sure.
yeah, McKenna. Caitlin 1 year younger than you. Eli a couple years younger than you.
I mean-
So you get into, I guess, kind of pass down that
Right.
thing. Okay, this is what I wanted to say this earlier. I forgot to say it because I just started talking. But you led straight to it. You led straight to you being able to see somebody older than you above you set an example.
Right.
And then you take that and send it down to. So obviously, I got a lot of people in my life, a lot of people that I love, peers, people that I feel like I can pour into, people that I look up to. So today, now obviously this ain't about me, but I started looking around and seeing the panel that's here, and I think you should always have people you should chase, not enviously, but people you should be looking up to, trying to better yourself and seeing them as the example. People that you're going through it with. You need somebody to go through it with. And
For
then
sure.
somebody that you can pour into. So having McKenna and Braxton up here, even though Braxton started this podcast and this idea, I still have a chance and an opportunity to pour into Brother Braxton and McKenna. But then KJ and I, you just hit 4 years married. I'll hit 4 years married in November. So we're kind of going through life together. We neither one of us have kids yet. We're starting our careers. We both have, young married. So we're rolling both in ministry. And so we're kind of experiencing life together. I can talk to him, and we're kind of going through the same things around the same time. And then we have Brother William, who's
Old.
like 8 months older than me, a couple years older than KJ, but
Super
I feel
old
like
man.
he's like got 10 years of experience on us.
He's much older in wisdom.
Much
I'm high
wiser.
mileage. I'm a high mileage 33-year-old.
That's funny.
So then we have Brother William, who for me is somebody that I look up to. He's in the next stage of life where he's a parent. He's a great husband, great parent, and I can see that example. So great preacher, great studier. So we have things that I can chase, as I say, not envious of what he has, but like, okay, that's an example that I can follow. Pastor is that person to me. I love Brother Michael Nutter. Those are people I think it's very important to have those people around you at every stage of your life. So even as a young person, your sibling can be that, who you can pass it to, you can pour into, not just treat them like, I don't know, they are annoying sometimes. I got them. I got younger siblings. They are annoying sometimes. But you can pour in, it creates an opportunity for you to pour into. But take the example that you were talking about. You should have those people, if you had an older sibling or somebody, maybe an older youth that's in your youth group, that you can look up to, get some experience from. Because looking to your parents, and we'll talk about parents, but that's a big gap between just us when we were in school versus them in school. It's a big gap on the difference. So having somebody just a couple years older than you that can help pour into you, and then having people that you can go through stuff with, I'm big on that. Always have people around you. But yeah, you get to be that example for someone behind you, but you got to see the example of somebody in front of you. Things to
Right.
do, things not to do, things that don't work.
Right. And I'd like to add to that, like for your walk with God, you can, like, as an example, like our personalities, we can click and stuff. Like we don't clash as much as like maybe me and my other
on.
sibling.
Come on.
But because you're so comfortable with everybody, like because they're your siblings, they're blood, you don't care if you like fuss or argue or
Yeah.
you like if you slip up a little bit, but
They've seen your worst.
right.
They're your best, but they've seen your worst too.
Like you're right. So like bearing fruit and stuff, trying to show compassion and like companionship, you can it'll really help you. They can help you like practice that, I guess, really get that into your spirit for like so you can with like other people who you're not really to, I guess,
Oh, yeah.
outside.
Yeah, definitely can work through some things with them, then take that to friendships and peers. Like Brother William has siblings. Brax has Chloe, not much older than you, and Jackson
Not
right
much
under
younger.
you. Like it's Chase on the hill. So y'all can talk to this. Brother KJ, your only child?
No, I do have a brother, 12 years older.
Oh,
though.
that's right. That's right.
Everybody up here has siblings.
Everybody's
Yeah.
got siblings.
Right. And another thing is like, for me and Jackson, like last year, whenever we really got serious about coming to church and being in the youth group, we really went through all that together. Like we were both kind of dealing with the same things at the same time, and so we both went. We went to separate camps. He went to junior camp, I went to senior camp, but he came back and he was excited about it, and I hadn't went yet that
Yeah.
week, so I was still like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you're excited about it. Like, I'm glad to see you're excited about it. And then I went, and I got excited about it. And so us going through that together, like, I get to learn a bunch of stuff from him because he's very knowledgeable. He's a very knowledgeable young kid. And he learns stuff from me, just, like, shooting back and forth. And, like, I look up to him sometimes, too. Like, he's very smart. Like, sometimes he blows my mind. I'm like, man, I didn't know that, bro. I'm
Don't tell
glad
him.
you told me that.
Don't tell him that.
But you can still whoop him though.
Listening.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And I will say something on that. It's just you mentioned that things you can learn in the house and take it outside. Like the wisdom of God to create this setup to where you can be in the four walls with a group of people, some people around your age and people older than you, to learn how to interact with people, to learn how to interact with somebody your age, a peer, learn how to have disagreements, learn how to get over things, learn how to not hold grudges, because generally it's easier to let go of a grudge with your siblings
Oh yeah.
because you're in the same. And it's amazing that God was wise enough to put this setup in place where we can learn how to interact before we walk out our house and learn these skills that go the rest of our life.
Bro, absolutely, because you see those cats every day. To me, it's exhausting to stay angry. It just takes a lot out of you to just be upset. Now, hey, I'm sure ain't nobody gonna name names and point fingers. I know you can probably name somebody that seem like they mad all the time. But that's exhausting to be. And if you see this person ever, like you can be mad at somebody you only see at church. You see that mug twice a week, no big deal. You see them for an hour, just don't sit by them, whatever. You go on about your day. To stay mad at somebody in your house all the time, it takes a lot of effort. So like you said,
does.
you're going to get over it eventually because you got to be mad at them all the time. No, we'll work through it.
Yeah, and you learn. And I've said it before. Having a brother who's 2 years older than me, we fought every day. He was always bigger than me, stronger than me, still is, and aggravating. He's extremely ADHD, and he doesn't get hurt, so everything's funny. And so he would start fights every day and beat me up every day because I had bad temper. Well, by the time I'm 12, 13 years old, I'm starting to realize that I'm going to learn other ways to handle my problems. Tired of getting beat up every day. And so it was like my mom laughs because like at some point it seems like our temperaments just kind of switched because I finally realized that it's just getting mad at everything's not working for me. It doesn't work very well. And I
Right.
learned that in the house.
And every time that you took that opportunity to receive that smoke, he was more than happy
Yeah.
to give it to you.
He
So
was.
You get tired of receiving it.
And it's funny because me and him, polar opposite. If you know my brother, we're as opposite as possible. But he's my best friend. Like we can talk at any time. We get along great. And it's just amazing because people see us that know us or don't know we're related and all of a sudden make the connection. They have to do a double take. And I'm like, those two? But we're best friends. Like we get along great.
Bro, that's
We just had
awesome.
to work through it.
We got, man, all our siblings. A lot of us are really different. And McKenna and I probably, as far as like people that I talk to the most, of course I see you more, but we're big age gap. But I told somebody the other day, like, man, I like hanging out with McKenna. Like, McKenna's my buddy. Like, she's my little sister too, and I'm her youth pastor, but she's my buddy. Like, we hang out. We watch football together, Red Zone, and like we was here last couple of weeks ago, and I was setting up for Sunday ball, and she was like, hey, I'm going to finish watching the rest of this game. And in my mind, I'm like, I feel like I should be the guy sitting here watching the rest of this game. But she was like, no, man. Like we can relate, but there's so many different personalities that I can pick from strengths of them. But when you're in the house with them and you start seeing their personalities, and like you talking about, Jackson may be younger than you, but yeah, okay, he's pretty smart and he's got good ideas and he can teach you something, even though he's a little younger than you, and also you can teach them something. Like having that back and forth is so key. And then, like you said, having that structure in where then you can go out and then take it into real life.
Right, and keeping an open mind is also a big deal for like a lot of people, especially like when it comes to your siblings. You don't like to hear what they like to say sometimes, but sometimes it's like something that may really pertain to you and help you out. And
They know you
even-
pretty good.
Oh,
They
yeah.
know you pretty good.
Oh yeah, for sure. They know like they've lived with you, so like they know like, hey, if you do that, mom's gonna find out. Or like, you know, like they know,
your
like,
buttons.
so keeping an open mind and like letting them feed into you, even if they're older or younger, is really helpful. It helps a lot in a way, cause like the age gap between y'all, like McKenna can teach you like stuff about social media, like that type of stuff.
Yeah, because I'm a dork when it comes to, like, I am way down on the knowledge of social media. And I don't think I'm like just some old guy, but I don't really like social media and I don't like spending time on there. So I know a zero about it. Yeah. So she teaches, like, just in our giveaway, in our raffle thing, you taught me something I didn't know about social media. And I ain't too big to be like, hey, Nate Dogg ain't the smartest person up in here. I understand that quick. Yeah. But somebody else I'd like to pick from is, with you having such a huge gap, but then also not surrounded. Like McKenna has a big gap of us, but Victoria was pretty close in her age, and Lauren lived with y'all for a long time. We call her Larry. That's just how it
Larry.
goes. But lived with y'all for a long time. But you have somebody closer in your age group. I think y'all are 5 years, you and Victor.
Yeah.
But you said you're 12 years?
Yeah, I pretty much was not raised with someone else in the home.
Yeah.
I was pretty much raised as an only child for the most part.
So different from us out here, as far as like we all got siblings to bounce stuff off of, then not having siblings. I mean, you either had to get pretty friendly in school, or you wasn't
Absolutely.
gonna have anybody to talk
and,
to.
and honestly, when it comes to that, for everybody that is an only child, in my opinion, you have to. I've always envied that. I've always envied other people being able to have siblings and have that kind of relationship. Even if it doesn't seem like it, you know, if you're arguing with Jackson or you're arguing with your brother, it doesn't seem like it's this beautiful picture. But I've always envied that. Hey, they got somebody they can always lean on. And I listened to a talk the other day, and somebody was pretty much saying that, you know, your brothers and your sisters, they're going to be with you forever. Like, they're your blood.
Yeah.
They're with you from the beginning. And that relationship is so important. That relationship is so important, and you have to do everything you can to speak positively to them, to make sure that nothing happens to where there's like a gap in that relationship. You want to keep that relationship strong. You want to, like Brother Will said, you want to forgive them. And you know, you have to keep that relationship strong because it goes so far. You know, you're the person that can speak into their life and have the biggest impact. But as an only child, it's really like, you know, you look at families and you think, okay, I'm gonna have to go make friends, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go make friends with somebody, and that's what I did. But it's okay to be an only child, but it's not okay to want to be an only child if you have siblings.
And I'll say, can I say something on this?
Absolutely.
You talked about relationships. I know I mentioned that we do a better job of getting over it with our siblings. But as we get older, like I've seen, like my family, we all get along great. My siblings, me and my sister get along great. My dad and my aunt, they live next door to each other. But then I see families where the siblings don't even talk to each other.
Yeah.
And for a long time, it didn't even register. Like, how could you not be friends with your brother or your sister?
Right.
But that happens when they start to get older, and all of a sudden some kind of resentment gets in there. And instead of learning to work through it, I'll just move on with my life. And I think that's a dangerous thing. I think you see it more and more in our culture that it's not a healthy thing. That if there's any relationship with a peer you need to get right, it needs to be your sibling. Right. Like, you need to do whatever you can to make sure that's
Don't be
right.
afraid to put effort in.
Yeah, like
For sure.
don't get so caught up with your friends that you forget about your siblings, because that relationship, right now you may be fine living your life in 15 years, for 30 years, but when you're an older person, all of a sudden that relationship, you're going to miss that. And don't lose sight of that.
Because you can't
Deal
ever
with
get
it
it
now.
back. You
Right.
don't get that time back.
Right.
And when you go to, hey, if your family's not close and y'all don't do like vacations or Thanksgiving or Christmas together, but terrible as it is, when tragedy hits and you got to show up to a
Yes.
funeral, they're gonna be there, more than likely,
Right.
because y'all are all still related to the same people. And then that's when it's like, oh, okay, there's the reminder. Like, I ain't talked to this cat over here in 7-8 years, and you almost probably sometimes forget what we even talking about. So, man, being able to work through that, you got to.
You got to.
You got to. I heard a guy, the old saying, you can pick your friends, but most of the time you can pick your friends. Some people won't be friends with you if you want them to be, but that's kind of how it goes. But most of the time you can pick your friends, but you can't pick your family. Like, you're related to who you're related to. And even though you may not love it sometimes, like you said, wanting to be an only sibling, but you got siblings, or being an only child, but they're going to be there, and they're going to be in your life. And if that's the case, if that's going to be a constant in your life, you got to learn how to work through it. You got to learn work past it, forgive. Because if you can practice grace, mercy with the people that annoy you the most, then you can take that out.
Because they know all your buttons.
All
Right.
your buttons.
They know the buttons. They know what hurts the most. They know what to say. And if you can get past that, then you're good.
Be the bigger person. Like, you know, you have to, whoever's listening to this, don't wait for your older sibling, younger sibling to be the bigger person, to step up, to apologize, to make things right. You make things right. Just do it. You know, I mean, that's what Nike says, and they're pretty successful.
Like
so.
you said, don't be afraid of effort.
Yeah, don't be
Put the
afraid of
effort in.
effort. Don't be afraid of uncomfortable, awkward situations, because there's always a bright side on the other end of that awkward conversation.
As somebody who is called to spread the gospel to the world, as we are as disciples of Jesus Christ, we're going to have to go out and do these things. And if you can't take care of it in your own house, or how are you really going to be able to take it out? But as somebody who is going to preach or teach, or you're trying to teach Bible studies, it's not necessarily like, yeah, you want them to take it. You want them to receive it. But all you can do is give it, and then now it's in their court. But if you never extend the hand, if you never try to be the bigger person, then I say, well, then we are at fault. Like, as somebody who's preaching, we're supposed to give it to you, and then it lays on them. It needs to find good ground. But if we're never even going out and speaking it, now we're in the wrong. So if you're out there and they don't receive it, they don't receive the extended hand, they don't receive the forgiveness, you're trying to work through that relationship with whatever happened in the past, that's not necessarily on you, but you do got to give that effort to try to.
And can we kind of segue that into parents? Because I think that same applies with getting along with your parents.
Right.
Because you
Absolutely.
see so many people who, they grow up, they move out, and they don't have a relationship with their parents. And we
Right.
see in our world today, it's like, I don't know when it started, but it seemed like in the last 5-10 years, there's been a big push to just cut your family off if you disagree,
Oh, yeah.
to just move on. That you don't need them. That if they're toxic, if they're, I get so tired of the word toxic. If they're toxic, if they're a bad influence, if they don't agree with the decisions you make,
That one.
that you need to cut them off. First of all, I think that's straight from hell because the family was made by God
Right.
and is designed by God for a reason. And it goes directly against one of the commandments: honor your father and mother.
Exactly.
Which is a commandment, and there's no conditions on that. It's not honor your father and mother unless you disagree with them, or unless they get on your nerves, or unless they're a little difficult to deal with. Then you don't have to honor them anymore. That's not in there.
Right.
And it's critical as the world is after the family, trying to destroy the family as we know it, that especially if you're a hyphen and you're getting to that age where you're starting to kind of become your own person. There's going to be friction as you become your own person. There's going to be, as you kind of shape who you are. But that relationship is critical. Keeping
is.
it as healthy as possible. It may not be perfect and it may take time as you make your transitions in life, but keeping it as healthy as possible is critical. And ignore all the people that are telling you to cut your parents off. They're telling you to cut all these people off. Ignore those people.
They're of the devil.
Right.
Literally.
They're wrong. They may say it wisely and they may say it with the right emotion and they may try to justify it great, but they're wrong. Because we can't go after voices that are destroying the family.
You have to maintain a strong relationship with your parents, even if they don't go to church, even if they're not, and this is a difficult thing to say, even if they're abusive, even if if you're in a bad situation, you can't just, I'm not trying to get all deep and stuff, but you have to, of course, if it's like super abusive, let somebody know, but I'm saying more so verbally abusive, just a toxic environment, like a truly toxic, environment. And you're sitting here trying to live for God. You just keep trying to live for God. You just keep pursuing Him, keep going to church, and the next thing you know, I mean, your parents may get convicted.
Yes.
Your parents is going to inspire change in them. I mean, they're the first people that you're going to be able to be a witness to. It's so important. And really quickly, I want to go back to what we were talking about, just the whole overall family and how important family. And James and John were brothers, weren't they?
Yes.
James, they're called the Sons of Thunder. They did everything together, both like loud and boisterous. That they were able to do ministry and do things together and spread the gospel together. And all those that are out there that are only children, and this goes back even further to us talking about you have to have somebody above you, blah, blah, blah. Everybody needs a Paul in their life that's pouring into them, that's teaching them, that's mentoring them, investing them. Everybody needs a Timothy that's doing life alongside them, that is, iron sharpen iron, that they're, you're going through the storms together, and everybody needs a Barnabas, someone to pour into, to help along the way. And all of that together, that's how you build a strong family. And that's how, it's all about keeping the witness, I feel like, in your family. You want to keep, because at the end of the day, we're all trying to make it to heaven. That's what we're trying to do. And you got to have a healthy relationship all around, especially with your parents.
Yeah. That word, when it says honor your father and mother, that word honor means heavy. And the image is supposed to be is that what your parents say should weigh heavily on your mind. Like the teachings they give you, the things they put in you should weigh heavily on your choices and your decisions and things, the way you live your life. And one thing when I was youth pastor, one of my rules was never say the parents are wrong. There was some times that was really hard.
Oh yeah.
Like when I was in Independence, there were some situations that I saw and I dealt with that it was hard not to say, but I knew one thing: when they left me, they were going to still love their parents. They were still going
Right.
to go back to their parents. And even when their parents were making the wrong decision, chances are they meant well.
Yeah.
That when your parent is telling you something that you don't agree with, first of all, they've been through a lot. They've experienced life. Pretty good chance they see something in you that they see in themselves that they're trying to deal with. Do they always deal with it right? Absolutely not. Do they sometimes go a little heavy-handed on something that you may not think's a big deal? It may be because 20 years ago they were doing the exact same thing and they know what it led to.
Yeah.
Right.
That they have more wisdom than we think they do. Are they perfect? No.
Right.
They're just doing the best they can. Are
Absolutely.
there terrible parents out there? Absolutely. But they're probably trying the best they can. And more than anything else, I mean, we give our teachers the benefit of the doubt more than we do our parents sometimes. And our parents care way more about it than our teachers
That's
do.
good.
Absolutely.
Like we give the benefit of the doubt to people that we barely know sometimes that we won't give to our parents. And it kills relationships because we get resentment, and then you got the world just telling you, like I said a while ago, just cut them off. You don't need them. And what happens is you see people, or first of all, not to go on a big long tangent, but the structure of the North American family is not what family has been for most of history. Most of history, your family grew up here, your grandparents were right there by you, your extended family, everybody lived right by each other.
Yeah.
And we still see it some here. But this idea that you grow up, you go across the country to college to get away from your parents to experience life is absolute garbage
Dangerous.
because we weren't designed to operate that way.
Mm-mm.
There does come a point when we leave our parents and we have to become our own person. But this idea that we have to get as far away from their influence, their sphere of influence and their ideas as we can is dangerous. And we've got to be careful, especially now. I mean, yeah, if you need to go to college somewhere else, there's a certain place you need to go, but let your parents' voice weigh heavily, even still. Like,
Oh yeah.
Right.
don't cut them off. This idea that we don't need our grandparents. Go visit your grandparents. I can't be honest, I'm terrible about that. And there's a lot of things I look back and there's some time I regret. My grandpa passed away a year and a half ago. One of the wisest ministers I've ever met, and there was a lot of conversations I could have had that I didn't have that I wish I would have.
Yeah.
Amen.
Right.
And do the things that culture says is not a good idea because culture doesn't know what they're talking about.
Right.
That's so
Like,
good.
spend time with your parents. Spend
That's
time
so
with your
good.
grandparents. Spend time with these people because they know what they're talking about.
And,
Are they
and
perfect?
you don't
Yeah.
have them forever. You
don't.
won't
Right,
have them
right.
forever.
You don't. And like you said, they're not perfect. But for the most part, they're trying to help you succeed. They want the best for you. Like, yeah, there may be some terrible ones out there. But for the most part, your parents are trying as hard as they can to provide for you and to get you to be the best you can be. And a lot of them probably think they can do more than I could do. If you really sit down and think about it, because I can teach them from my experiences, and they can, hey, we can make some shortcuts. You ain't got to make all the mistakes that I made. You can learn on your own, sure, but take some wisdom that I had, and they're trying to promote you even higher than they went because they want the best for you. They love you, and you got to have that in their life. But if you don't spend time with them, you don't
Right.
visit them, I mean, you're not going to be able to really
not.
hear that
And I'll say
out of
this
love.
as a perspective of a parent. And Gentry has his struggles he has to deal with. But my marriage, I think we have great marriage. I don't go and worry about my marriage. I worry every single day when I go to bed, did I instill something in Gentry?
That's good.
Am I helping him when I'm gone? When I'm not around? When he's 15, when he's 16, when he's 25, when he's on his own, is he going to be all right?
Yes.
That weighs on me every day, all day. As a
Dude.
parent, that's going to weigh on you. That weighs on your parents. Every day they go to bed, they're thinking, did I do enough today
Wow.
to help
Bro,
them?
My dad, we would talk about one day, and he said that, which obviously, hey, maybe a lot of people don't think this because people are scared of dying, but he said, I don't fear death. Death is inevitable. I fear life because life has decisions, and the thing I fear most are my kids making bad decisions. Did I do enough to help that not happen?
Right.
So they're out there trying.
Yes.
Like you said, I'm going to bed at the end of the night. Did I do enough to help them go forward? Did I instill enough? Did I give them everything I could have given them to help them. Because with your wife, you're a team, you're together, you're working through this thing together. But as your kid, as your child, which I don't have kids, but I have great parents who I know as I seen as I got older were trying to do some things to really help me out. And I wasn't receiving them as a knot-headed kid, you know, stubborn kid. But I wasn't receiving them all the way that I should have. But, man, he was really trying to pour in to me, and I see it more now. But, yeah, you lay your head on your pillow at the end of the night. Your parents are trying to do everything they can to help you succeed and get you to heaven.
And really, you got something? Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, along with all that, a lot of things with this generation is they have a victim mentality. Everything that someone tells them, especially their parents, they think that's the worst thing they could have told them. Like, you can't go see your friend tonight. You know, it's just not a good night. I need you to stay home.
They're fun killers.
Right. They just like everything they do to them is not for them. Like, you're against me, and so I'm gonna be back against you because that's what everything in the world has told me to do. Like, just like you were saying, the culture, like, they don't know what they're talking about. Your parents know what they're talking about. They've been living this life a lot longer than you have, especially in this generation. A lot has come since like early 2000s up till now. Like, there's been a ton of different changes in life, and you have to take those things into account. Like, your parents have seen before you were born. Like, like they've seen all this stuff come forward, and so their knowledge is a lot more than you think. Like, you don't want to listen to them, but you need to listen to them because they know really what they're talking about.
For sure.
And I want to say, spend time. We've talked about it with your family. You may think they're lame, embarrassing, whatever it is. Spend time with them. And when we say spend time, we don't mean go in there and get on your phone, put your headphones in, and just be in the same room as them. Spend time and, like, you know, put your phone down and actually just be in their presence, be with them. You know, watch a movie with them. Do whatever without your phone connected to you. That's super important. One of the biggest regrets in my life, and I don't have many, is not going to see my pawpaw as much, you know. And I think about it almost every day. And I want to urge everyone out there, don't take your parents, once again, don't take your parents and your grandparents for granted. Be with them. Ask them questions.
That's what I was gonna
Ask them questions.
See what conversation goes. See where it leads.
Ask them. I'll never forget. I sat down with my papa and asked him a million questions. He was in the military, and I asked him. You know, I got to find out. I asked him a question about whenever he went to Germany. I was like, "Did he find any pretty girls?" And he just laughed out loud at it, and he's like, "Oh no, I pretty much already had one."
Yeah.
You know, I was like, okay, look at you, committed. So it's just good. It's good to have those conversations. How much time do we spend on social media, Netflix, YouTube? I think we can cut into that pie a little bit and
For sure.
go be with family.
McKenna, you got anything?
I would just like to say, like, in a whole, like, if that's what you're working on to maintain your relationships with all those people, your friends, siblings, grandparents, kids, all of those, you want to maintain your like you and God's relationship, because maintaining that one, it's an umbrella over all the other ones.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you maintain that one, it's so much easier to just reach out to the rest of your relationships.
Oh, man, you talk about, and we're about to get to a couple more giveaways before we switch into the next transition, but talk about, like, hey, work on that vertical relationship and the horizontal ones work out. Go read that word and see how the Lord talks about his children. And if you're somebody who, obviously we hate that, but doesn't have a parent or doesn't have the sibling or doesn't have that covering, oh, you got somebody. And it's the creator of all things and the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. And see how the word talks about how he views his children, what he wants for his children, what he'll provide for his children. There may not, if there's not somebody in your life that you can put that to, you still got somebody on the throne in heaven that is looking after the best thing in your life and wants the best for you. Make that connection.
I gotta say one more thing on
Yes.
that. I love that you said about how God views his children. And when it gets to that point, young person, when you want to go off on your mom and tell her you hate her and all that stuff, remember you're talking to one of God's children. When you're with your sibling, you are talking, you're one of God's children, but so are they.
Oh, yeah.
And so be careful how you
good.
talk about them. Be careful the things you say that cut deep.
Yes.
Oh, that's so
Because
good.
remember who you're talking to.
to anybody in general. Yeah, everybody you face. That's God made them with a purpose and a plan for their life in His
Absolutely.
image. That's so good. Okay, we got deep right there. I loved it. I loved it. Okay, we got a
Swim
couple
back
more.
up to the surface real quick. Do a good one.
Let's get a couple more giveaways, and then we're gonna get into some hyphen and some leaving family. Little I don't say aging out, but hyphen, and then kind of going on meeting this world head on. That world that your parents told you about. That world that you're trying to meet with your siblings. We're about to get into that. But before we
Adulting
do that,
101.
adulting, man. All right, we'll get into it. Brax, which one we got next?
Hit them with the Amazon and the Target.
Amazon. Amazon got it all from A to Z. That's what the logo is. Who found that out when Pastor preached on logos? Was it Pastor?
He did preach on that. He did.
He said it looks like a smiley face, but it's from A to Z. Amazon's got it all.
yeah.
Okay, Amazon don't pay any sponsorship, so we're not pumping them up.
Yeah, yeah.
Just saying, that's what you can use it for. Okay, that's what you can use
They
it for.
They can
So-
pay sponsorships.
Yeah, now we'll take it all day long. Now I
Yeah.
understand we're still following and we're underneath the leadership of the Lord and pastor of this church. So whatever kind of agenda y'all need us to do, sorry about it. It's gonna follow the Lord.
it
But
is
we
what
will
it is.
take any kind of sponsorship.
For sure.
All right, Amazon gift card, 25. All gift cards are $25. So is there gonna be a hassle over this? Is gonna be a fight over this? Not a fight, never a
Oh.
fight. Effort put forth.
Take off
though.
the brass knuckles right
We'll
now.
we're gonna sling it out to the
It's
left
not
over
that
here, then
serious.
we'll sling two more out at the end. So here we go. Come fight for it.
Oh my goodness!
You almost took somebody off.
Hey,
The chairs! The chairs! You gotta. Okay. Settle. Settle. All right, now, Sister Carissa, pass that to somebody else because you can't get in this fight. I'm so sorry about that. I'm just kidding. She didn't push nobody down. A-Train, right over there by the chairs.
A-Train.
Way to go. Let's give it up for Avery Martin, Sister A-Train.
Congratulations!
Proud new owner of a $25 gift certificate from Amazon. All right, what's next? Did you say Target or Chick-fil-A?
The Target.
Target. Now, I'll say this. Target one, I found the best one. I almost just grabbed them all and kept them without even putting any money on it because it had an eagle with an American flag on it and it looked like I'm not a big Captain America guy, but I do love the American flag.
I do too.
And bro, I went
America.
to scan that thing. I said, let's make these patriotic kids. Hit that thing. Sorry about it. Can't read it. So now I just got one that says you're the best. So hey, you are the best.
Hey.
And when you get this $25 gift card to Target, you can go spend
Hey,
it.
sit down, sir.
So okay, here we go. And now now we fed two over here. We feeding two over here. So we're gonna launch that thing. We
Oh
got to
my
fight.
goodness.
We got to hassle.
Oh my
We
goodness.
got,
There it is.
cheers!
There it is. Okay.
Cheers,
That dude's like 6'2" pushing down a little kid.
bro.
Like, come on.
Let's go.
6'1".
Let's go. Okay. Oh, hey, thank you so much for straightening those back up. Okay. Hey, thank you so much for Trey Fowler said he's gonna give that straight to his wife. He came off the production team and said, hey. I'll give it to. Oh, my bad.
He's
That's
like,
back there in the
he's like,
gaming
never
section.
mind.
That's back there in the gaming section, boy. All right, so that's two giveaways. We got one more. As people say, God's chicken fillet up in here at the end of this thing. $25, but that's going to be at the end.
Love some
and
Chick-fil-A.
we're actually probably going to empty the platform. I'll give a couple of announcements, and we'll put all the hosts will get a chance to be out there and attack Chick-fil-A because who doesn't love Chick-fil-A, right?
I do love it.
So, anybody else think they should have grabbed two waters?
Absolutely.
All right, so we're going to jump into the hyphen portion of this family talk, family month. Man, first, thank y'all so much again for everybody that was here, everybody watching, everybody, all the guests that are inputting. But I think it's only appropriate to kick this one straight to our hyphen pastor, Brother KJ,
Yeet.
at the hyphen portion of your life and the struggles that come with that.
So I love talking about hyphen stuff. Hyphens, young adult, that age, 18 to 30 or whatever, 18 till it gets weird. Brother Will was talking a lot about, it's okay to stay at your home, blah, blah, blah. It's not okay to stay at your home too long. You need to move out eventually.
Eventually, we need to cleave to that.
Yeah,
that husband,
eventually.
right?
Yeah, eventually. Or biblically, you don't have to get married. You cannot get married. It's actually better not to get married. The Bible says, but we won't get into that.
I'm gonna have to push Gentry out the nest. I know it. I know for a fact.
Hey, and we like to give
Forcibly.
it up real quick before we. Thank you to our production team that also was grabbing waters. Let's give it up for Brother Trey
Awesome
again.
people. Hey, but look, it's better to get married. I'm joking, guys. But if you want a ministry like Lee Stone King, it is what it is. You got to make those same sacrifices. So, really, talking about the struggle of hyphens, I'm going to be very quick, but I like to look at it more so as the opportunity that hyphens have at that age. From 18 to 30 is the rudder of the direction that the rest of your life is going to go. Pretty much what you decide to do in that time is everything. And one of the things about this hyphen age that we have an extremely educated group of individuals that know how to use technology, that are very, very energized, very passionate about certain things, very creative, and all that kind of stuff. I've heard it said that hyphen is the thermometer of the church. You can determine the health of a church by the amount of hyphen that go to that church and participate and serve. And, I thank God for the river. The river is ran by hyphens pretty much. It's an incredible thing. But the big thing that I want to say is with young adults is that you have time. You do have time to figure things out. There's a lot of things coming against you. Distraction is the number one thing that you're dealing with. You're distracted on every angle. So many things are trying to pull you away and take your focus. And we have to believe the Bible and operate in the Bible, and it says, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness. At the end of the day, that's what it's all about. We have to put him first, quit seeking a relationship, quit seeking, we could talk about that all day. My God, that's the biggest struggle. You have the opportunity to invest in yourself. Invest in the best version of yourself that God wants you to be instead of being what everybody else wants you to be. That's wasting your time. You know how many people have missed the boat because, somebody told them that they need to go and do this and that, so they go off and do this and that, and they hate it. Be the best version of yourself. Be the best biblical version of yourself. But just to wrap up kind of what I want to say and let other people have input, hyphen is such a unique age that you are going to be for the rest of your life what you put into yourself at that age group. I am who I am today because of the books that I read and because of the connections that I made and the effort that I put in at that age. And I started late. I really didn't get serious about things until the age of 22, 23. And if you're 30 plus years old out there, it's okay. You have time. You can still turn your life around. But I've been thinking about it so much lately. I had a conversation at work about this, that don't think that you just, in your 20s, don't waste it.
Yeah.
Don't waste your 20s.
For sure.
Go ahead.
Well, and I know, probably definitely us three, because we've been through that stage, and now we're whatever we are, young marrieds and father and stuff like that. But I'll say I'm one of those cats. I took off late. I did the exact thing that everybody says youth are going to do. If they don't get plugged in, they're going to leave the church, and they're going to out there doing who knows what. I was in the church. Then I went to high school. I put sports before anything else. I went to college. Don't know when I made church. Went off and did who knows what. And when I came back and actually got serious about it, I was in my mid-20s. And what I thought about is the time I lost. Don't waste it.
Right.
I thought about the time I lost and the people I missed along the way. Now, I had to forgive myself, ask the Lord to forgive me for that, but I had to forgive myself about that because I thought about so many missed opportunities. But also, I felt like the Lord gave me peace at that, hey, I sent someone, but I wanted to use you. I wanted to send you, but I couldn't. You wouldn't respond. You wouldn't hear my voice. But now, I don't feel like I'm playing catch up as much, but I do sometimes it'll creep in my mind, man, all the things I could have done, how far I could have been, all the
Right.
people that the Lord would allow me to speak life into and to teach Bible studies, and how much more comfortable I would be about these things if I would have just
Did it.
done what everybody says, hey, you're going down this road, don't do it. and then being like, I know what's best for me because obviously I'm 17 years old and I have all this life experience. So I'm a prime example of what people are telling you, hey, don't be. And you're like, oh, well, Brother Nathan, you've turned out fine. You're serving in your ministry. You're a youth pastor. Yeah, I'm 33 years old. But maybe I could have been like Brother William Hudson doing that at 18. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Maybe if I
Terrible
could-
idea. Don't do it. But I appreciate
we
all
got-
the relationships. I
Hey.
love them people, but that was a terrible idea.
Go back
I
a
feel bad
couple
for them
episodes.
people.
It's about 4 episodes ago. He talks about what a struggle that was. But you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, you could have been doing so much more. I could have been doing so much more. But I played around with it and I wasted it. Now, do I got stories from when I was in my 20s? I absolutely do. Any of them bring anything to the kingdom? Zero, really. Zero, really. The only thing they bring to the kingdom is like, man, I remember him when he was out here just playing ball all weekend, and he was at these 3 and 4 day softball tournaments, and he don't play no more. He goes to church. That's crazy, because I would have thought, like, I became a testimony, because there's no way he's ever going to move
Right.
from that guy to this guy. But that's kind of really from 18 to 25. I didn't do anything for the kingdom, really. Really, other than showing an example of, hey, if you do this, you can't get by it. I'm not saying if you're 25 right now, hey, you've wasted all this time, but you can still get there.
Yeah, oh,
like you said,
absolutely.
you're 30 or whatever.
It's
It's like
okay.
hey, you're always
He
one
can restore
turnaround.
everything.
Everywhere you've walked, God's followed you. And all you got to do is stop, turn around, and he's right there. You ain't got to go track back 15 years. He's right there. You can start from there. But it's a lot easier. A lot easier. If you get plugged in as a young person, find your place as a hyphen. Even if you bounce around, you served on a Greek team, you served in a musician, whatever it is. Find somewhere to serve, find something to do, get bought into the word and prayer and worshiping, and just keep stepping up, keep leveling up. Let the Lord keep using you, because if you take that big old break, that 7-year break or whatever it is, it gets so easy. Oh, I missed this service, I missed this service. And all of a sudden you missed a month and you didn't realize it. And then all of a sudden you ain't talked to anybody from church in 3 months, and you're like, you see them at the Walmart or whatever, and you're like, oh, okay. Like, it clicks back to you. It gets so easy to just not do it when you get out of it. And then you find yourself
Right.
way down a road where you're like, man, I got to turn this thing around. I got to start doing something. I know I should be doing better than this. Now you deal with that guilt that the Lord helps you with. If you deal with guilt, the Lord helps you through it. But you can kind of try to not do that by staying locked in as a hyphen and finding somewhere to work. Like you said, hyphen does like, so I don't want to put a percentage on it, but it's a high
It's a
percentage,
high
of
percentage.
the stuff here at the river. And it's because we got great hyphens that say, I'm plugging in rather than going to do whatever.
Right. I'm only 18, but like from what I've seen from like people that I know, people that are older than me, and a lot of times they'll start going to college, or they'll go try to find a career, and they try to figure it out all by themselves instead of letting the Lord lead them in the direction that they need to be. And for a little while, I was kind of like that at a younger age, probably like 15, 16. I tried to figure it out for myself. Like, I tried to plan out all these years of exactly what's going to happen my way, instead of letting the Lord do it his way.
Oh, yeah.
And that's a big thing, is just letting the Lord, like you said, get plugged in, and he'll lead you on the way. I mean, for the past year and a half, it's flown by. Like, it feels like so long ago that I plugged in, and now I've just done so many better things in my life than me trying to plan out myself and just let the Lord do what he was meant for you to do.
Absolutely.
I got a couple things I want to say. First off, the time flies by, so don't waste time.
Yep.
I look back, and like I said, I was involved. I was youth pastor at 18, and I won't get into all that. But there's so many things I wish I could have done different. If you have dreams, chase them down. Don't wait. Like, there's things that, like, I won't give a shameless plug, but I'm about to put this song out, and I look back and it's like, man, if I'd have pursued my dreams, I wrote this song 18 years ago, 17 years ago, if I'd have pursued my dreams sooner instead of just getting so busy at things and just wasting time on things, that if I'd have managed my time better and myself better, I think there's things I could have got done a lot sooner.
Yeah.
Like, don't take this time for granted. It's going to fly by, but take advantage of it. Do something with it. Like, you have dreams, pursue them. If you have something you want to do, something big you want to do it. Go ahead and do it now, because once you get married and have kids and start living that life, you're going to have a lot less time. So pursue it now.
Absolutely. one of the things that I want to say is David was anointed king, right? He was anointed at a young age. I think he was pretty young. He had that, and but even before that anointing, he was committed to the kingdom of God. He is committed to loving the Lord and praying and serving and seeking Him. And somebody has to know that you are anointed, that there is an anointing on your life. You have a purpose, and God has a plan for you. But what happens so often is people forget after they graduate, they forget that they're anointed, and they forget that they have a calling on their life. And they look at people and they say, oh, this person is already a pastor of a church. This person is a missionary. Look how much this person's being used. I can't do any of these things.
Right.
And they just throw up a wall and say, okay, since God's not immediately putting me right there, then I can't do, I'm going to go a different direction. I'm going to figure things out on my own. But what we have to realize is that we don't. You may think you have a capacity issue, that you can't do things that other people can do. It's not a capacity issue. It's a commitment issue. You have the capacity. You have, as a young adult, you have the ability to do anything and everything that you want to do. I am in a role in my job where I am seeing some of these young adults that are just making something of themselves and doing it all unto the Lord. And for me, it's like I just want to tell every young adult that you can literally be and do anything you want to do. If you're doing it for the glory of the God, He's going to multiply it.
Yeah.
But you have to put the effort in. You have to put the phone down, put the frivolous things down, and do it. And God's going to multiply it. I know that I'm you don't hear this a lot. I didn't hear this a lot growing up. But God wants to make you successful in the secular world because we're all called. We're in the world, not of the world. So don't be afraid. Don't be afraid if you feel like God's calling you to like go help the homeless, start a company that helps the homeless, that feeds them, that does something for them. Just, chase your dreams.
Yeah, chase your dreams. I love that you said that because I think some people will try to spin that and we're saying chase your dreams as a secular world, as out there
like
in the world.
A selfish thing to do.
Yeah, a selfish thing. No, chase your dreams like, you wrote a song,
Who
a
gave you
Christian
those
song that
dreams?
would glorify the Lord. Chase that down. If you want to be somebody who's going to preach, hey, get up in there and study that word and store it
Ooh,
away
that's
in
so
your
good.
heart and then start teaching your brother or sister. Start teaching your siblings. Start teaching whoever, your people at your school or whatever it is. Like, go ahead and start and run that down. But then don't let people
That's so good.
bury that. Don't somebody like you ain't never gonna preach. You ain't never gonna sing. You ain't never gonna write a song. No, go after that.
And I'll say this on that, pursuing your dreams and all this stuff. Because what happens is we have dreams, and there's a difference between having a God-given dream and having selfish ambitions.
Yes.
Because what happens a lot of time with people in ministry, they look at positions and say, I want to serve in that position. And I look back, and there was a little bit of that. I had some of that, and God had to deal with that within me. But what happens is we set those kinds of dreams, and then we're not hitting those markers that we feel like we need to hit to get to that goal, that we say, well, we're never going to get there, so let's do something else. When that God-given dream, if that position you're looking at, it's probably not the dream God gave you. The thing that person's doing is probably the thing. The ministry, doing something for God, is probably the dream He gave you, but not the position.
Yeah.
So what we have to do is stop looking at those goals. Can I get in this position? Can I get this opportunity? Can I stand on that stage? Or can I have this much money in the bank? Or can I get to this promotion? And stop looking at hitting those kind of markers and say, let me be the best that I can be right now for what God's called me to do, and I'll let Him worry about the results. Because sometimes me just pursuing my dream, this song, part of my problem was, well, I know it'll never take off. And it's like, well, that was never the intention. The intention is never for it to make me anything. The intention of get it out there to help other people.
Yeah.
And it took me a long time to realize, stop worrying about those other things and just
That's so
let
good.
it be what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Some other things I'm working on, that it's not about somebody saying you did a good job. It's about helping somebody. And when we pursue our dreams in ministry or in life, it's not about having the biggest house. It's not about having more money than somebody else in your life or doing. It's about when you get to a certain point, say, I did the best I could with what God gave me.
Yes.
That's it. So my biggest fear in life is looking back and and fearing that I buried the treasure that God gave me, the gifts that God gave me. I don't want to do that. I want to spend it. I want to use it. And at a young adult age, the best thing that you can do is invest in yourself and invest. And when I say invest in yourself, I don't mean just from a carnal perspective, but pray, read the word, read books, educate yourself, get an education if you want to, because this is Family Month at the River, and you have this special opportunity to build yourself into the ideal future father of a home that you're going to have. You have the chance right now to do that, and you don't have to wait until you don't have to be reactive to that situation. You can be proactive and go ahead and build yourself into the perfect husband, the perfect father, and all that kind of stuff. That's so important. At this age, we have the chance to break generational curses. We have the ability and the opportunity to do that. And I'm saying that because there's a lot of people out there that, they're falling into the same stuff that their family's falling into. And you can break that. That can end at you. And you can, like Brother Will was saying, you can build a legacy and you can build something for future generations at this age. I wonder how old David was when he started working on the temple.
I got two things I want to add. First, read a book. Please don't stop reading. If there's anything I look back in my life, I get so mad at myself for stopping reading.
Wait, say that one more time.
Reading.
Say what they need to do.
Read a book. Read lots of books. I get so aggravated because I can look at my ministry, just talk about ministry-wise. The times that I was reading more, I was preaching. That's when I could see I took steps in my preaching. And I get so aggravated at myself that I wish I'd have never stopped reading. So no, it's not something you'll hear a lot in church. Read a book. Read the Bible, but read books. Please don't stop doing that because it helps your mind in so many ways. I got three things I want to say. Number two, something you just said about work on now, becoming the father you want to be. Be the person now. If you want to get married one day, be the person now that is worth marrying. Right. Become that person now. Become that person now that's worth hiring. Become that person now that if you were to look at a crowd of people and say, I want to pick that one, become that person now. So that when you get there, you're the one. You're ready for it. You're ready for the opportunity. And third thing, Kyle made that noise and made me forget.
Me?
It made me forget. Oh, it's something I heard one time that, look, I spend too much time on social media. I'll be the first one to say YouTube, social media, I spend too much time there.
I agree.
But if you, as a young person, if you'll spend 1 hour, let's say 2 hours less on social media, because the kids at school are probably spending 6, 7, 8 hours a day on social media, for being honest. If you spend 2 hours less, you have 2 hours more time to work on yourself and things every day that other people don't. And by the end of the year, you're looking at weeks worth of time that you were able to put in on things that mattered, that'll put you ahead when it's time for you to get a job, when it's time for you to do other things in life, that you'll be literally years ahead of other people.
Seriously.
If you'll put that time in, just an hour or two a day, more than other people are.
I really want to slap both of y'all right now just because that was so good. Slappy Mama, that's why they call it that this season. And that is so powerful, so good. I know we got to move on soon, but this right here is probably one of the most important things. Think about it. You can become so valuable. You can become so ahead of everybody else if you just read. I got the best job I ever got was Pelican State Credit Union. I got it because I read books, and I had things to say, and I knew how to go into a interview and tell them, hey, you may be interviewing me, but I'm interviewing you to see if we're a right fit and see if you pass the test. It's life skills. That's what this generation is lacking more than any other generation is life skills. This generation is a bunch of babies, like Brother Brack said. Go ahead. You got something to say? A bunch of babies. I'm just being real. We don't know how to do stuff. And if you learn how if you learn the basics, if you start read books on how to start a business, how to be successful in business. The Bible says that there's nothing new under the sun, right? I go to Brother Will because he knows stuff. And it's okay. Learn from people that aren't in church how to be successful in business and apply it and say, I'm going to do what they did, but I'm going to do it in a godly way, and I'm going to be successful, and I'm going to be able to impact and influence so many people because of either the wealth or the influence that I've created for myself. And my God, finances. We could talk all day.
Yes.
Please, for the love of God. I'm about to start crying. Be smart with your finances. Be smart. Be a good steward. Be a good shepherd over your finances. What you do now matters. Don't rack up credit. Be smart with it. Go get a credit card and use it wisely. Use it up to 33%. Start building your credit. Credit is everything. You are your credit score when you get older. Just to let you know.
This conversation took a turn.
I know.
I like it.
It
But
took
it's
a
a hard left.
life lesson.
This is something, and I'm done. I'm gonna say this, and I'm done. The at this age, you have an opportunity to do so many incredible things and plant so many good seeds. Yet we're dummies, and we stay on social media. We stay on. We do all these frivolous things that don't reap a harvest.
Yeah.
And I just wish I could go back in my 20s. And I did a lot. I read a lot. I invested a lot. But I wish I would have invested more. But what it boils down to is laziness and time. You want to do what you want to do.
What you talked about with your siblings. Work. Don't be afraid to work for it. Like, yeah, right now, it's a prime time to get started. Now, hopefully you was in your youth and you was working on some things, working on yourself, working on getting, more involved in your community or your church or what it is, but working on also growing you spiritually, personally. And now is the time to where, and we're about to drop this over to Braxton with kind of giving that season of leaving the house and kind of stepping out there into a little bit of adulthood, a little taste of it. But right now is a chance to really, hey, let's start it. And let's start it good. Let's take some experience from other people, some reading, some studying. Hey, read some stuff out there. There's garbage out there. There is garbage things out there that you can read and be like, okay, and then you read this and you're like, well, I disagreed with that. And you read this and you talk to somebody that you see their life and you respect their life that they live. You respect their marriage, how they are financially, if you know. And you talk to them about some of this information. Like, take it from other people.
That's so good.
Take it from people in a light. You need a couple people speaking into your life. Godly people who you respect spiritually, but also their life. And I ain't trying to, shoot at anybody, but you talk about relationships. Don't worry about searching after relationships. But when it does come time for you to find that person, have a conversation with somebody's relationship that you agree with. Not a single person who has 15 relationships and they all failed after 3 months or 6 months. Don't try to get.
They're clearly not an expert.
Don't try to get financial advice from somebody who isn't well financially, who is struggling, who's going check to check, who you can tell they're all under stress and it's 100% financial. Don't try to get spiritual advice from somebody you know doesn't pray. Or somebody
That's so good.
Somebody you know doesn't pray, you don't think doesn't pray. Don't try to get spiritual advice from somebody who doesn't show up at church all the time. Try to get advice from people who are doing the things that you want to. That's why you need somebody to chase after. As I said, not enviously, but somebody I need to try to get on that level. I'm trying to get a little better. Obviously, the Lord is our example. Jesus Christ is who we're trying to follow. But you can see some things here. The reason he spoke in parable is so they could understand it. If he just got out there and said things, there's stuff that just went over people's head. That's why he taught the same thing 4 different times, 4 different ways, is so we can understand it. The Lord gives you an example of somebody else who's trying to follow after him. Try to follow after them. Try to take some back and forth from them and learn from them. And they're trying to get where you're trying to be. They're already at where you're trying to be. So let's put those examples out there in front of us, and let's pull from that.
That's so
start
good.
now. Start now as a 17-year-old, a 16-year-old, but as a 20-year-old, let's start now financially, spiritually. Dive into it now before we waste time.
Last thing, I'm going to put the mic down. I'll even walk off the stage if I have to.
I don't believe you.
God, when you were formed in your mother's womb, God created you for a purpose, and God created you for connection. He created you for connection. Remember that every single day. Say, okay, God created me for connection. You're an introvert, who cares? God created me for connection. I should be connecting with my family, with those around me. I should be reaching after. I love what you said. You need someone to chase after. You need someone that if whatever words they speak into you are like gold or like so valuable, you need that person. That person for me is people like Pastor, and one of the big voices in my life is Brother Terry Schott. Is I've lived my life by some of the things that they've said. So God created you for connection, read, and pray.
And last week, which we are, man, we coming. I think we're doing good. We coming right up on where we wanted to end it. But what I wanted to do, speaking of hyphen, Brother Braxton, we know, just went 20 weeks. He went to basic, went to AIT, and you didn't just totally go off and just, okay, whatever, into the world, but you got sent out the nest as a first little taste of outside the nest. And it was different, yes. Very different. You got other people, you kind of like, you take a job, like, okay, your parents told you what to do all your whole life, but then you go get a job, and now somebody else is telling you what you do, but you don't have that relationship with them, or they're maybe not as lenient as your parents were. They're not. And so you now have stepped out into the real world, as people say. You're in adulting now, and some people are like, oh, just wait till it slaps you. But some people you want to try, you hope you're ready for it, but a lot of times you don't know till you know. It's just, there's no substitute for experience. You don't know till you know. So as somebody who just jumped off and splashed off in there and came back, and now you're okay getting into the workforce, speak a little bit of that, to that hyphen, that youth that went to hyphen, and now they easing out there.
Yeah, so I left June the 7th, and I was at basic training for 9 weeks. I graduated there on August 17th, and then I did AIT from like the 24th of August till October the 20th, just last week, about a week ago. And leaving, I couldn't feel it until I got on the plane and I was by myself, and I left my mom and dad behind at the airport and was on my way to Georgia. I got to Atlanta, and I was like trying to find my way. Usually you get your mom to help you. You're like, Mom, wait, where we gotta go? But I get there, Atlanta's huge airport. You gotta take a transit to get where you gotta go. And so I finally get there, and they put us on a bus and get us on the way to Fort Benning. But really, what really helped me there the whole time is the first Sunday they had a service, and I didn't bring my personal Bible because they said they would take it. I didn't know for sure, so I didn't want them to take it from me because that's very dear to me. It's my mom's Bible, so I didn't want that to get taken. So that Sunday we go to service, and they had these Bibles, and usually it's those little Bibles that just got like the New Testament and Psalms in it. Yeah. And you're like, it's good to read that, but like you want the whole thing, just in case especially being who I am, I like to study a lot of different things at different times. But I picked up, they had a whole Bible, and I picked it up, and I still have it with me at the house, and I was like, I wonder what version this is, because I don't like to read just any old version of the Bible, just because like some of them are just weird to understand. The translation's not really there, and it was an English Standard Version. I said, man, let's go. That's perfect.
Yeah.
And so
you stole that Bible.
Oh, I took that thing. I said, I gotta have that.
You
with
bought
me.
them with the push-ups.
Yeah. And so we were at reception for 6 days, and all those 6 days, I mean, I read. And like when I wasn't doing anything, I was reading, and I get to basic, and I just every day I would, I could only read for a few minutes, maybe before bed, I would take it out and read it, and just let the Lord guide me where He wanted me to. Like I sent letters back with not messages, but just little small things that I felt while I was there, and just letting the Lord guide me there really helped. Like there was a lot of people that I got to talk to. I don't know how much I reached them, but like I put in my part and let the Lord do the rest. And I actually met a guy there who was apostolic, which is really great. It was so that night I had literally laid down and I prayed. I was like, Lord, help, like send me somebody to help me out,
to
like
be in
just
this
get
with me.
Right. And that next day I heard him talking about like speaking in tongues or something to somebody, and I was like, man, what kind of church you go to? He's like, I'm apostolic. Perfect. So like every night he was a beautiful singer, dude.
Did we just become best friends? Is that what you're talking about?
Bro, really. And it was just amazing. It was an amazing connection, and that led me that like being able to plug myself in and do that type of stuff. It led me to that guy, and I still talk to him a little bit. He lives in Florida, but it just stepping out and still being with God the whole time and be able to do that really helps a lot. Like just letting the Lord take you and guide you and talk to you, and just being open-minded and have your ears open for the Lord to speak is a big part.
And you're in the Army National Guard, right? So that is a career. Like
Right.
people make entire careers of that. That is a job. But you went into the workforce, and I understand you probably do more at basic than you do at drill, you know. So you went into workforce. It's all intended purposes. That's what that is. You went to work, but you still stayed with your scriptures.
Right.
And you find out quick as you go out there, there is time for that. All of a sudden I step out into the workforce, and now that's all I can do. Now I just got to learn my new job. I got to learn this. No. There's time. Like you said, if it's just a little bit before I go to bed, I still got to get that word in. I still got to
Right,
get that prayer
and,
in. You go into, you said, oh, Sunday I went to that service. Because you go to church here so much that, okay, let me still make that a priority to do, where you could have, it's not mandatory. You could have been like, no, I'm good.
One thing that really opens your eyes as well is like you only get your phone every Sunday for an hour, maybe whatever they decided. And whenever like you go up to clean the bay, or like you're just kind of hanging out for that day, not really doing much, you realize like if I had my phone, I'd be on my phone right now. Right. And so like looking back, that I was like, that really it disciplined me to put down my phone and be like, hey, I need to read the Bible right now, or I need to pray or do this and do that. It really opens your eyes of how much you've adapted to having that cell phone on you, and getting distracted by like, hey, I need to clean my room, and then you get on your phone for 3 hours and it never got done. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And it really just opens your eyes to that whole situation of like, you're not always gonna have it your way. You're not always gonna be able to set things aside and be distracted by things in life, not just your phone, but just in general. And so that whole experience really opened my eyes to a lot of things of growing up and starting a career, starting a life.
And you talking about, okay, I laid down my head at night because I needed somebody in this with me. I'm a strong soldier in the Lord's army, but it really helped if I had somebody in this with me. And the Lord provided that. That you still, it's so easy to just get focused on the next chapter, but still throw them prayers out there to him. He's still your Father. And still throw that out there, and he's still sending you what you need, and that helps get you through. But it made it a connection.
Right.
That thing where you're talking about, I put my phone down and realized I didn't need it that much. But that you still wanted that. You thrived for some connection. You still needed that connection to help grow and still put into people and have people feed into you. The phone didn't grab you as much, but the lack of that, having somebody in the fight with you, you still needed it.
Right.
So when you set those things down, those distractions aside, and you realize, okay, this is what I still need, and then you reach out for the Lord to him, and then they give that to you. And then he provides that to you, and now you're right on your way. And that's a connection that you made, and who knows the connection he makes. And, you said, I don't know how much I reached them, but a seed was planted. A seed was planted there that could go on to sprout who knows what.
Right.
And as the fruit comes forth, who knows what else comes from that. So stepping off into that is so important to keep those roots that you have dug deep. And remember, hey, we're still out here. We're still out here reaching. Even though this is something new for me, it's something new for somebody else too.
Right.
And I'm still reaching. I'm still stretching because I'm still doing the Lord's work in this new chapter of my life.
And I think that's a really great place to end. This has been so much fun. We could talk for probably 3 hours on here
Easily.
just about anything and everything.
Honestly, I was worried about it, but that was
right.
Easy
we could
peasy.
easily go another hour and a half.
But it's so good to
one
be
more
back. It's this was fun. I love the podcast so much. I only got to do 6 episodes before I leave. Brother Nathan continued it with some of like these people here and a few others, and
I have a name. I'm just playing. I'm joking.
And we're going to keep, I don't want to say end of season 1 like we're taking some big breaks. Season 2 starts next month in November.
Right.
Hey.
It's going right back. We're going right back into topics.
Our
We're
writers
going
are not
right
on
back.
strike.
No, we're not on strike. We're going right back into new guests, more guests, and we're going to keep coming at it. But we do Sister McKenna, you spent a long time just chilling and
I'll say,
sipping.
she's
Sipping. Hey, I know we got into the
Hey.
hyphen. We kind of left you landing.
I'm
so,
enjoying
She been
this.
praying.
I'm actually taking notes right now.
there we go. Hey, that's a
Yeah.
big thing. Big
so here's
piece
what I
of
want to do for, because we got to get out of
Give
here.
her the
Anybody
gift
real
card.
quick need any last remarks? But I want you to send this out. But we do got a gift card. So
I do want to say real
it all
quick,
comes to-
I love what Brack said about, how he instead of being on his phone, he was able to make a connection, because all this is a substitute connection.
yeah,
Like, it's substituting what God instilled in us, that we need the real thing. And we're created for connection. And I'm not saying this is the devil, but if you put this down every now and then and just be aware and be discerning, then God's going to open doors and put people in your life. How are you ever going to see the person you're going to marry if you're always just looking at your phone?
I'll say this real quick.
talk
That
about
was
it.
really good.
That was good.
That was really
That's
good.
the first good thing I've said today. I'll take it.
Just talking about just leaving home. Like, I was blessed when I left home. I got married. I got married 21, and so I never lived alone. So I never experienced that. But you see so many people when they move out of their parents' house lose their relationship with God because they really never knew who they were. Like, find that out now. Like, and the world tells you go find out who you are by going and experiencing crazy thing, experiencing sin. That's not finding out who you are. That's just finding out that you're a sinner, and you've always been a sinner, and you're just indulging the things that's always
Right.
been there.
Yeah.
But find out who you are. Find out, know who you are, be established in what you believe, why you believe it, where you stand, why do you go to church, why do you have a relationship with God, not just because my parents say so. But find out who you are and establish it for yourself, so that when you walk out of their house and nobody's telling you get up on Sunday morning, you'll still get up on Sunday morning.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all I got.
All right, McKenna.
I was not prepared to do this.
Hey,
but
that's all right. You got a little bit more. Then I'm
Yes.
gonna make a big announcement. We're gonna do the
Right.
giveaway.
I guess all I could say is I hope whatever we talked about, that this made a mark, impact you in any way, and that we had a good time doing this, and love you guys.
Loved it.
Can I say something about McKenna, and then I'll let you say something. McKenna, I was
Just
thinking
did the outro, bro.
she was. It don't matter. It don't matter. You deserve this. I've been here like 7 years, something like that, and I remember little old McKenna, and just seeing her growth. And while she was talking, it just kind of dawned on me that she is someone that was committed, that has sought God, and is a perfect example of where you want to be and the direction you want to go. I just want to say I thank you and appreciate you for being an example.
Right, like I would say that y'all can clap. That I am like to you guys. I feel like I am definitely like, in my opinion, the new generation. Like y'all, yeah,
The baby,
of course. And like, I'm not gonna say like I'm any higher than any 15-year-old. Like, absolutely not. But because of you guys, pushing me and being the accountability, push me for the opportunities, supplying the opportunities. Like, I'm so blessed to have all you guys. So.
I think I'm bitter that she wasn't really in the youth group because she was doing kids stuff when I was youth pastor. So I'm getting bitter about that. But also, how many push-ups can you do now?
I don't know.
I've been willing to ask that question the whole time.
Pastor challenged me. If he's still up for the challenge, I'm down.
you will absolutely
Hey.
annihilate Pastor.
Out
Pastor
there
said-
tomorrow.
Braxton said he'll do a 4 count for every one of Pastor's push-ups.
Pastor's
and still
got
whip him.
Pastor's got double the weight to push up than you. I'm just saying.
I ain't saying nothing. I'm ducking out on that
I
one.
can't say nothing about weight.
Oh, we talk about him. He's fighting our battle for us.
All right, so last giveaway, $25 gift certificate to what some say is the best chicken. I'm not going to say everybody says that, but some say is the best. Sister Chris, you want to come up here and
It's definitely the
say
holiest.
who the best chicken is? Okay, we won't put her on the spot. But we got a $25 gift certificate to Chick-fil-A, and here's what I want. I wasn't playing. It just came to me when we was talking about everybody liking Chick-fil-A. I want y'all, if you can, sit down your mics easily. And I'm going to give you all an opportunity to get out there and get this Chick-fil-A gift card, if you can. Now, if it's going to be too loud, sorry, Trey, I'll have to mute you. He'll have to cut y'all off. But give everybody a chance to get out there. I want to give it up for Brother Braxton, Brother KJ, Brother William Hudson, And Sister McKenna, thank y'all so much for being a guest on the show today. All right, big announcement. Tomorrow, if you don't know, this is Family Month, and tomorrow is Family Friends Day. And that means that we are out here all day. 10 o'clock service, one service, 10 o'clock service. Show up. It's going to be incredible. We got songs, pastors bringing the words, and then we literally have, I don't know how many tents and how many activities. Sports, gaming truck, snowball, coffee, what? Who knows what all we got going on. But y'all want to be here. You want to be a part of it. And 10 o'clock, we'll be out here probably until the sun goes down. Don't be worried about being here late. Brother Ricky Shane's going to lock up for Brother KJ. It ain't going to matter. He got to be out here the whole time. He loves every minute of it. So be here 10 o'clock tomorrow. Love you guys. And on the outro, who gets this Chick-fil-A gift card? You got to die for it. Sister McKenna gets it. All right, I love you guys. See y'all next time.